What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 74 of Lyon Live, here in Football Manager 2019. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic. We're back again. Today we are going to be entering the winter break, the winter transfer window even. And yeah, it's going to be a fun little time. We're going to be starting off with a game today against Rennes, and then we're going to kind of just take things from there. If you're sat at home thinking, Jack, you sound different today. This is my morning voice. Yeah, kind of unusual, as you guys know. I'm recording a load of episodes in advance, and well, because of how I'm having to do things, I'm currently sat at 6 AM in the morning recording a video before I go to work. So yeah, this is morning voice, Jack. We'll see if this is ever repeated, I guess, based on the quality of the actual commentary. But yeah, if I'm a bit slow, if I sound a bit funny, I don't feel unwell. I'm just waking up still. I've had a shower, it was nice and cold. And, well, I'm ready to see Monaco draw against Lille. That's the perfect start. PSG, can you now draw against Rennes? Please. That would be good, wouldn't it? They can't. But Monaco dropping points is still kind of useful. Thank you to Lille for doing us a favour there. And then Nice v Bordeaux means absolutely nothing really for us. That draw, you can see, actually takes PSG ahead of Monaco. I mean, we're only 11 points behind PSG. It's not an improbable gap. No, it's not an impossible gap. But it is kind of improbable that we can close that over the second half of the season. I feel like we'd have to pretty much have an 100% record, which might be a little bit challenging. But anyway, we've got to play Stade Rennais today on the Tuesday. And then, as I mentioned, we're going into the winter break. I don't really know what to expect from this winter break. We don't have a load of money to spend in the transfer window. There's a little bit of wage budget excess. And, well, maybe, we'll get bids on a few players. But, yeah, we'll kind of just take things as they come at us, I feel like. We can't really plan too far ahead with transfer windows. If the likes of Fekir was to get a bid, I probably would have to weigh up whether or not it's worth selling him. You might remember, obviously, Lenglet has had an ongoing saga of wanting to leave the club. He's now signed a new deal, as you might remember, so things are looking a little bit brighter on that front. And, well, we have a game to start today. In terms of what I want to do, I'm not entirely sure. I feel like we need to start Maolida. Depay's not been the greatest in his last few games, but he has been better than Moise Kean, so we'll bring him in at inside forward. I also think we'll give Aouar the nod ahead of Fekir, Am I happy with this team? I felt like Maolida was going to hit a really good bit of form for us, and he's kind of fallen off a little bit. 2 shots, 1 yellow card away from a booking. So, you know what, we'll bring in Tolisso for this game. Of course, with the French kind of booking system, it's kind of to do with yellow cards accumulated over, I think it's the last 10 games. It might be the last 5 games. I'm pretty sure it's the last 10 games, where essentially they look back on your previous 10 games, and if you've got, I think, 3 or 4 bookings, then you're kind of due a suspension. So hopefully just giving Toussaint the rest here, starting Tolisso, will just mean that, an extra game comes in. It's a game where he'll be classified as having not been booked, and it might just minimise the risk of him being suspended for a match. But anyway, let's get into this. As I said, this is probably going to be the first and only match of today's episode because of the kind of winter break and transfer window. I really don't know what's going to happen this episode, how long it's going to be. I think we'll play through and just see where we end up. See how I'm feeling as well. This is very much uncharted territory. Normally when I record videos, I do it at the end of a day. I've been to work, rested up a little bit, got some food in my belly. Today I've rolled out of bed, I've jumped in the shower, it's nice and cold. I've sang a little bit to myself in the shower to try and warm up my voice, as you might be able to tell from the sound of me, somewhat unsuccessfully. And now my body's kind of sat here thinking, what are we doing in front of this microphone? This is not normal. Hopefully my players aren't feeling quite as lethargic as I maybe am. Here, it's 0-0 after 40 minutes. It's not exactly a fantastic start. We've had less of the ball, but created way more chances. Which I guess is kind of the ethos of this system. We give teams room to play in, but that room that we give them to playing is kind of ahead of our free centre mids. And from there, we can press, we can win the ball high, and, well, unleash chances maybe like this one from Kingsley Coman. He whips it back post. Maulida's there. His header just wide of the post. It was an okay opportunity. Wasn't considered a clear cut or half chance, but that is the closest that either team has come to scoring at the end of the first half, which it would be fair to analyse as hardly being a classic. Far from pleased, boys. Far from pleased. Do I want to change the system at all? I don't know if I do just yet, but equally we need to, do a little bit more going forward. We'll switch to a slightly more attacking mentality. The good news is we've limited their chances quite significantly despite them having a lot of the ball, but we do need to go forward and create our own chances, and Mendy's going to try and do just that for us. Punch clear to Ndombele. Now with Aouar. Have a go. Coman. Man, he needs to be hitting the target there. His shot whistles wide of the post. An hour gone, probably the time where you have to look at changing things up just a little bit. What do I want to do? I feel like more directed attacking is probably the right approach here. In terms of who we're going to take off, part of me wants to take off Tolisso for Romero. I think we'll do that. In the final third, the average ratings really aren't that terrible. I think we'll bring in Gabel's up top, and I'm actually going to bring in Moise Kean on the left. I feel like Depay and Maulida, two players who have struggled a little bit in this game. We'll see how we get on, but let's be honest, this has been not a classic so far. We have been very, very lacking. We're going to go very attacking here to end this game. We need a goal. We need to get a win here. 5 minutes left, a highlight begins, but it's them in our half. Aouar wins the ball back well, but it's still with Rennes here, who bring the ball forward to Cunha. Now with Barreca, the Italian fullback, formerly of Monaco, if I'm not mistaken. Grenier here. Now with Gellin. I mean, this is a little bit scary, this sustained period of possession. Obviously, if we can win the ball back and unleash a counter-attack, fantastic. But right now, we look like the team who defensively are being called into question as Bono has a go. And, Lopez, lovely little stop, turns it around the post. Still yet to have a clear cut or half chance in this game. Maybe something could emerge from this corner. It's going to be Rennes with it. Let's see what they can do here. They whip the ball in. Headed clear by Wallace, which is good. Only as far as to Cunha, though. Second ball of asking needs to be blocked. It's blocked well. Who was that? I think it was Ndombele, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, this is just going to be a ball draw. This is not the start to this episode I wanted. I said hopefully the players don't start out lethargic. It's like they know it's 6 AM. Not at the races in this game at all. We had, the better in the way of quantity of chances, but it'd be fair to say that this game really didn't have a great deal of just quality chances throughout. 0-0 it finishes, probably a fair result upon reflection. Really doesn't do us any favours. I feel like we've already accepted the fact we're out of a title race at this point, so I'm not going to get too disheartened by a draw there. They're in 9th, away from home. They've only lost 6 games in 21, which is reasonably good, and you can see they've not scored a great deal, so maybe we shouldn't feel as proud as we do about the fact... Well, actually, I say they've not scored a great deal. They've almost scored as many as us. They've conceded twice as many as us as well. You can see here, we actually have one of the best defences in the league. We've only conceded 15 after 20 games. Monaco have the same goals conceded record, but they have played a game less. Unfortunately, it's just the goals scored where we're lacking a little bit. Goalless Gabels worries Lyon. I want to be like, I'm not worried yet. I am a little bit worried. I thought between Keane, Gabels and Maulida, one of them would have kind of found their stride by now, and it would be fair to say that with Kingsley Coman, top goal scorer, we're lacking a little bit in the striking department, perhaps. But anyway, we're going to the winter break now. We'll see what happens in terms of if we get bids on players, if we decide that we want to spend some of our cash. You might remember, I can't remember if it was the last episode or the episode before, but we did start a bit of a mass scouting job. PSG playing Bordeaux here. Bordeaux, do us a favour, please. And also, I don't know if Monaco are playing. I assume they probably are. If whoever's playing Monaco can do us a favour, that would be very much appreciated too. Oh my god, Bordeaux actually won. Unfortunately, Monaco won as well. So the good news is we closed the gap on PSG now to 10 points. The bad news is that we're trailing Monaco still. I mean, that makes the draw feel even more disappointing, really, doesn't it? But we've got to now try and bounce back from that, kind of reset mentally and kind of go again. Anyway, here you can see DJ not playing so great for Brest. Durand, he didn't keep a clean... Oh, he did. No, he didn't keep a clean sheet. He didn't keep a clean sheet. He never keeps a clean sheet, does Durand, because he's playing for one of the worst teams in the league. But his aerial reach has improved a little bit more, and just on the whole, he's continuing He's a fantastic development, the goalkeeper, which is fantastic. How did Aneda do? Not a classic for him. Maxi, I mean, he was part of the winning side. Keita grabbed 2 goals as Auxerre won 3-1. He's a bit good, isn't he, this guy? Thing is, I feel like he might be another Terrier, where he has like 1 or 2 really good seasons, but he never quite matches that. Apparently, Auger has continued his development, and he's now probably worth a chance in the first team. My word. I mean, that's a good sight. That's a very... I mean, how does he compare now to Aouar? He really can't be that far off. I mean, look at that. That is exciting. He's recently turned 18. It was his birthday yesterday. We forgot the cake. It's a disaster. Got a few players here who we could probably offer professional deals to. Let's do that. Good idea, assistant. Mefta there looked pretty good. Bastide, Florian Bastide. He's not got the craziest potential, but he looks currently like a player with some good good current ability. So it's probably worth just giving him a deal, just in case he's a late bloomer. So we were scouting, you might remember, a load of players here. In fact, we're still ongoing with the scouting. So hopefully, by the time the transfer window opens, we'll have a load of scout reports flooding in of all these players with 1 year left on their current contracts. Maybe there's a good player or 2 here that are going to be worth maybe trying to pursue. We've not got a load of money to spend in the transfer window. A little bit of excess wage budget, but the actual bank balance of the club itself, I think, is just bordering into the red. Every year it kind of, starts in the black and slowly deteriorates. Yeah, you can see here. £6 million in the red, but we can deal with that. Moise Keane is continuing to do well in training. If only this would translate to performances on the pitch. He does look very, very good, though, doesn't he? Scarily good, some might say. Aouar's been linked with Arsenal. I don't like the sound of that. How much would we want? How much would we want? Asking price. 80 mil. He's worth 55 mil, like is in his market value. I'd want more than that. Maybe I'm deluded. Maybe I'm asking for more money than he's worth. But that's kind of how I roll. Anyway, you can see here all these players with contracts expiring. I think the best bet to do is just going to be to go through them all, and then at the end, just look at the player search screen and then look at the recommendation levels that our scouts have given, the ones that we've scouted so far. We're scouting quite a few, so we're probably going to have kind of a steady stream of scout reports coming in throughout January as well. Hopefully the best of the best are the ones that we get the scout reports on soonest. Of course, the way that the kind of pre-contract stuff works, when a player's contract gets to 6 months remaining, you can approach that player with an offer sheet, give them a deal. Their club will very often offer them a new contract. Their own team, their current club that they're contracted to, will offer them a new contract during January if it gets that late. So with that in mind, you want to be approaching players very much on kind of the first and earliest opportunity, so kind of right at the start of January. That's why the kind of preparation, I feel like, is just so important. Just scouting all the players in advance, having a good idea for who you might want to go in for, so that come that kind of golden date, you can sort things. Vakir wants to leave. You know what, Nabil? You can off. He's really not done that much this year. 6 goals, 2 assists. Like a good average rating, but I don't feel like he's irreplaceable. Tottenham and Chelsea are interested. I still want 90 million for him, which might be ambitious, but we'll see. Ndombele might... Oh, Toussaint might want a new contract. Ndombele, can you resolve the issue here, please? Toussaint, mate, you don't need a new contract. You don't need one. Look, you've got 3 years left of your current deal and an optional 3-year extension. I have no reason to offer you a new contract right now. You agreed to the terms, you agreed to the 8-year deal knowing what it meant. Yes, the overall wage structure of the club might have changed slightly. Ndombele set for a move to Juventus. Hello now. I mean, I didn't consent to this. Allegri should look elsewhere. Ndombele's pretty irreplaceable. I mean, his asking price is already set at 150 million. Apparently Barcelona are interested as well. One thing that's been a bit weird about this series is the fact that I thought that we were going to be needing to fend off interest for our players quite a lot. I thought we'd be in a situation where, we'd be in more of a selling club than we have been. And we have had a few offers for players, but we've never really been super forced into a deal where I felt like I have no choice. We've kind of reached that point now with the Fekir situation, but yeah, in general, there hasn't been a massive amount of selling our key players, that maybe I got an offer I couldn't refuse for. Very often it's been a case of a player kicking up a fuss and then, subpar offers coming in rather than game-changing offers. You can see David Diaz was a good player, actually, very good player for Juventus in a 3-1 win against Atlanta. Continuing to develop, which is really, really good. Gravenberch playing for Napoli as well. He played the full 90 minutes of a 3-2 win against Inter. That's what I like to hear. Eder Militao set for a Barcelona shirt. I mean, what is this all about? What has happened? This could be in a very eventful January. Asking price, 120 mil. Man City are interested, so you've got to ask for a little bit more money when that happens. Man, I do not want our club to get ripped apart this January. I'm already struggling a little bit this season just with the kind of general squad build. Losing players would just not be pretty whatsoever. Lyon win 5-0. Durand, he only played 85 minutes. He didn't come off injured, did he, or anything? How come he only played 85 minutes? Did he get subbed on or off? Oh, he got subbed off. Oh, pre-season friendly. I've hit play here. I didn't want to watch the highlights of Rousse v FC Lyon, funnily enough. I'm just wondering, actually, if we want to schedule in another friendly during this little run here. Probably don't want one. I guess it's against a lower league opposition. I can probably have a midweek game, to be honest. Who do we want to play? Nearby teams. I want to play an interesting team. Similar reputation team. Boca Juniors. Yes. Come on. We all love a bit of Boca for a pre-season friendly. Good money to be made off that match as well. £200,000 potentially if they accept. I don't know what kind of point in the season it is in Argentina in December. I know usually it's kind of a winter break around this time of year for most South American leagues. But I don't know how it works when it comes to Argentina, because Argentina restructured their league a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I might be incorrect there. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I feel fairly confident in saying they changed up their team. Nick Tuns is out with a torn back muscle. That is bad news because he is one of our big hot prospects. Let's hope that isn't anything to be worried about. And Lucas Romero out with a tight Achilles for just a few days. I can live with that. I'm really nervous for this 1st of January date because I'm worried that we're going to get a flood of offers come through our letterbox. Just our team getting plucked apart. I don't really want a high turnover of players. You don't get that much downtime in the winter here in France. I know we call it a winter break, but the reality is that in a week's time we're going to be playing our first game of the French Cup. So as much as it might be a little bit of a break, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a load of time to operate in the market, get in the players that you want, potentially be filling spots of players that we're selling. Oh, damn, Gravenberch broke his ankle. That is bad. Napoli won. He's been playing a lot for them, but that's not good. That's bad. Annoying. Very annoying. We'll have to hope he can put that to the back of his mind. I feel like of all the players in our team right now, Fekir is probably the man I'm most willing to sell. Just because I know that we have Aouar, but also Auger, who I think could step up. Coman now being linked with Barcelona. What is happening? Please stop going in for all of our players. How do these teams have all this money? Surely they can't afford them all. Manchester United make offer for Coman of 62 million. Oh, this could be an interesting window. Auger is doing fine. Manchester United make offer for Coman of 70 million. Coman has contributed a lot so far this year. We brought him in for 72 million ourselves, so I kind of want more than 72 million back to even consider selling him. £110 million, please. They didn't outright say no, did they? £125 million, please. Oh, sorry, 105 million. I can't count. Please send help. I'm going to ask for 100 million. We're slowly getting to... I mean, what would I sell him for? 90? I don't really want to go less than 90. They've offered 91, but 18 million of it comes down to him playing 50 games for them. My client has no interest in joining Manchester United. I mean, in that case, we don't even have to feel like we have to sell him. Thank you, Mr. Agent. I'm glad that Koeman values us more highly than Manchester United. I'm sure that won't be the only bid that we get in the coming week. I am tempted just to offer Fekir out and just see if we can get the offer, like a offer for him. He doesn't want to talk to me anymore. I feel like the damage is done. There's too much water under that bridge. And I'm quite a good bridge builder. I look at Langley, built that bridge myself. By hand, brick by brick. But the Fekir River is just too strong to build a bridge over. Guiri involved in a 2-1 win for Reading. Well played, my friend. How much has he played? He's not played a lot at all, considering they're a championship level side. But he's been played in an upset there and got the goal. Maybe that will kickstart his loan. Shadas got a goal as well as Newcastle beat Coventry. I mean, it's not the most classic of results right there. You'd hope he'd score in that, really. I don't really want to sell Koeman for less than 100 million. We brought him in for 70 of our own, and I don't feel like he's depreciated in value. You know, he's not got injured a load or declined as a player. If anything, I feel like he's kind of excelled since his time with Bayern with us. Similar story with players like Militao and Ndombele. I just don't really want to sell them. I don't know how he'd replace them. Feel like that would be a challenge in itself, and a challenge that I really don't fancy. Now, leader injured for 3 to 4 weeks is not good news. The other thing is we could always recall Freitas potentially, or Shadas if Fekir left. Like, we've got centre attacking mid replacements waiting in the wings. I will also say now, as the game auto-saves, just as a public service reminder, set auto-saves on your FM save games. Set it up so it's rolling saves, so you have multiple versions of the same save file. Don't risk your save file getting corrupted, which does occasionally happen. You know, if you close the game or you turn off your PC while it's saving, have a backup file or two. I'm speaking from experience here. I'm sure there's other people out there who can give their accounts, you know, recovering players who have lost their saves over the years. It's not a nice feeling. Moise Kean showing remarkable development in training. More of that, please. Just become the best striker in the world. Prove everyone wrong. Does make me wonder if, at some point, if we go with a 2-striker system, potentially with Moise Kean and Goebbels. Anyway, we've got more of those scout reports coming in for players with contracts expiring. I should have a look at what's available on that market. As I mentioned, it is kind of important to do. So let's have a look at players with contracts expiring. And I think we'll look at all lengths of time and then just sort here and look at the recommendation level, see if there's any super standout players. Andre Nascimento. He's 19, currently playing for Nottingham Forest in the Championship. They've loaned him from a team in the 2nd Division of Portugal. He looks good. Everton and Bournemouth interested in him. Makes me even more keen to get in there. Suarez's contract's expiring. There's a few players here in their 30s. There's also a few younger players here. Carrascal, young Colombian. He looks pretty good. Not got the craziest potential, but I don't know, at a different time I might be interested in him. We also have this guy, Dilrosun, or Dilrosun. I've never heard of this guy. Apparently he's on loan from Liverpool. Looks okay, but he's nothing that we've not already got. I mean, Luis Suarez, I feel like the wages are probably going to be a problem there. I'm not going to lie. Oliver's a player who we've looked at a few times and kind of and ahed about. Bakali here is pretty good, but he's very injury prone. Let's just set the max age to 27, and let's actually not look by recommendation, let's look by value, just to see if there's any players we've not quite scouted yet, because you can see here there's a few gaps, though actually I think these are players who have recently appeared in this list of having their contracts expire in 12 months, because they're based in Brazil, where contracts traditionally run through the calendar year. Maitland-Niles is like the dream super sub who can just play every position, isn't he? Just concerned about the amount of money he might want. He's also not the greatest player in terms of quality, but it's probably worth just getting a scout report on him and seeing, you know, maybe what he's expecting. I am tempted to put in an offer in for Oliver. He looks like a good little player. He's only on £22,000 a week, so you can see here his wage demands really aren't that high. I wonder if we can get it down to 30, you know. I think we might be able to get it down to close to 30. And at that kind of money a week, it's probably worth a punt. I feel like £30,000 is such a low-risk investment for a player who we've looked at a few times through the years. If we are going to lose Fekir, he could come in and do a reasonably okay job for us, I feel like, as well. He's 27, so he's not exactly young, but he's got a good personality, fairly professional. He'll slot him well into the team. Ryan Fraser's on this list. How is Ryan Fraser? Not that great. I wonder if he's had much of an upgrade in the January transfer update. Of course, we started this save game just before that update came out in Football Manager, so we're still on the original database, which is probably why Jovic isn't the craziest player in the world in this specific save game where we've got him out on loan. Just wonder if there's any players here who are going to be super standout. I mean, Oxlade-Chamberlain would be interested if it wasn't for the fact he's always interested, and he's like currently interested now. Lamela, not particularly crazily good. Let's set a max age of 31 and just see what gets thrown up here. Wellington Silva, that's a throwback name. He used to be kind of a go-to player a few years ago in FM. Always makes me sad when kind of former FM Wonder kids, you look at them and go, man, they're actually quite old now. Chris Willock's very, very good. Quite like the look of him. How much is he going to want a week? He's only on £4,000 a week wages. He's not actually interested in talking to us, which is a little bit of a shame. But his current wages are so low that he's the kind of player we could probably bring in for like £20,000 a week. And at that cost, he probably offers quite good value for money. I wonder if it's worth setting the max age just to 21 and seeing if there's any more players like that young Portuguese regen. You know, really good regens who have contracts expiring. This guy's pretty good. Francesc of Barca. Is he going to want to talk to us? He's semi-interested. I dread to think how much he's going to want a week. Okay, he wants quite a lot, but I'm kind of now curious. I'm going to submit an offer, and this is a little bit more than I'd want to offer ideally. But he's 18 years old and he plays for Barcelona. So there's got to be a reason that he's playing for Barcelona, right? They wouldn't just have any old kid in their academy. We'll see what the scouts say on him. There's a few other players here. Oakley Booth is obviously not a regen. He's an okay player. He's not crazily good. Let's lower the age just a tiny bit here. Martin Minchev. Never heard of you. You actually look quite good as a striker. There's a Chinese player in here. Do we want to get the marketing in China up at the club? You know, a bit of thorough merchandise sale. Potentially. Veltra in here of Atlanta. He's not that great, is he? He's not that great. Let's lower the age down just as low as 18. Same age as the Barcelona player. That should eliminate any kind of real players. From here, we'll be looking at all the various regens that are coming up. Obviously, what I'd normally do if I was playing with a Tribute masking off is I would just shift-click and just scout the top players here. That would kind of just be all I do. In fact, maybe we should just do that anyway. Maybe there's some crazily good players in here. I've got more than 50 selected. I've made the error. Damn it, 52. So close to getting the right amount. Who's this guy? Al-Mutari. Or Materi. I can't do names. Please send help. He doesn't look that great. Hideki Takie. I mean, he's okay. 18 years old. Wing back. Plays for Gambara Saka. Who else we got here? Emilio Trillo. See, he looks pretty good, doesn't he? Plays for Atleti. I always wonder if it's just worth waiting for the scout reports to come back on these guys. This guy looks good. 18 years old, playing in Iran. Can't offer a contract. I guess his contract's up at the end of the calendar year. Can't say I know much about the Iranian league to know how that kind of stuff works. Random Finnish player. Doesn't look very good. Who else we got here? Richie Fox of Cork. So there's lots of kind of meh players here, but equally there's probably one or two players who I'd see and go, oh my god, I want. And so for that reason, it's probably just worth scouting all of these and just seeing what gets thrown up. Albanian players down here at the bottom. I mean, he looks pretty good as an Albanian goalkeeper, doesn't he? Julio Cesar Moreno of Paraguay. Who else we got? Yuka Matilla. Probably not how you say his name, but I tried. I feel like it'd be like Yuka Matilla. But who knows? It sounded good in my head. Bo Nordgaard. These pronunciations probably aren't doing it for anyone. Alvaro, he has a bid on him. Who bid on him? Okay, some random team want to loan him. He's not that great. He's not that... I'm going to be honest, underwhelmed. You know what? I think it's probably best just to wait for the scout reports to come in on these players. You know what? We'll scout this next set as well. Why not just get scout reports on everyone? Maybe there'll be some crazy player. Maybe Alfredo Lotti is the best player in the history of world football, and he's just in the making. Maitland-Niles is going to want too much money a week for what he offers, so I'm going to withdraw that offer. Nascimento. Very, very highly recommended this guy. We'll offer him a longer-term deal. He looks solid, doesn't he? Really, really good physicals for his age. Not the tallest player in the world, but very good mentals. He actually looks like a baby Toussaint in a weird way. It's a shame that he's not the best in the air, but that's probably why he's a natural defensive midfielder rather than a centre mid. The fact he's played half a season at championship level at a relatively young age is exciting. There's quite a few teams interested in him, so it might be quite difficult to sign him up. Tuati apparently has had someone approach him on a pre-contract. That's kind of okay. He's a player I don't intend to keep on. Moreno, do you want to sign a new contract? No, you're still unhappy. I probably need to sell Moreno if I can. Let's see if anyone nibbles at his kind of market value of 30 million. Just want to check here, make sure we're not losing any of our best young players. Tituan Thomas, I probably do need to offer him a new contract if he'll sign one, which he will. Fan-blummintastic. In the under-19s, players with contracts expiring this year, we just have the one. It's Tituan Thomas, who we've already offered a new contract to. What about the guy who it said we were losing on a pre-offer? Oh, he's here. He's one of these other players who we're not too bothered about. Tuati, like, he's good. He's not great, though. I feel like the overall quality of our kind of youth players means it's, a challenge. I had a loan offer for Trincao. It's not the best loan offer in the world. Can I request a cheeky monthly fee? Can we get that in, maybe, Fiorentina? Yeah, £250,000 a month. That loan deal makes a lot of sense to me because I'm struggling to fit in Francisco Trincao. It should allow me to give Malcolm, sorry, wrong Brazilian playing in La Liga, but it should give us a chance to give Malcolm just a regular run out on the right hand side, interchanging, and the fact we get £250,000 a month is a really good monthly fee. For 6 months, that's going to be £1.5 million for a player who, I would have been struggling to rotate in and out of the team a little bit. Anyway, first division transfer window opens. Barcelona make Eder Militao offer. They've offered 44 million for him, which is his asking price. Apparently he has a slight interest in wanting to talk to them. I mean, he's just too good to let go for that price. I'd like one nearer 80. They've offered 49. I just don't think it's worth it. He offers us so much to our team. He's so good. Such a great, well-rounded player. I almost wonder if it's worth offering him a new contract. He doesn't want a new contract because of the interest being shown in him by places elsewhere. I feel like that's a polite way of saying that he doesn't think we're a big enough club. And I'm slightly offended by that. But anyway, transfer window is going to be getting into full swing. Kind of excited and interested to see if any of those regens that we've just mass scouted look any kind of good at all. Is it worth recalling an Ada from his loan and seeing if he can get the goals for us? Like, he's got goals that are struggling so-show. Things he's doing so well on his own, I don't really want to lose him unnecessarily. You know, I don't want to recall him back for him not to play when he's getting so much benefit from his loan. It's a similar story to Mamadi Keita here. You know, we signed him from Nancy for, what, £250,000. He's now scored 10 goals in 19 league games. So Oliver's going to join us. That is good news. I think at £30,000, it's just a smart deal. Aouar's development continues to be good. I mean, if Barcelona want to make an offer for him, it's going to have to be a blooming good one, because it would also maybe put a slight dent in our plans of bringing in Fekir. Or rather, letting go of Fekir. Apparently we've got to... Okay, so Francesc can join us. I kind of want to wait for a scout report to come in before I commit to paying the compensation that we'd have to pay because of his age. It's just my own personal gut feeling on the matter. Thinking about it, some of the younger players we're scouting might also need to pay compensation on. I know it's the case in England. I want to say it's a player under the age of 23. It might be 21, but basically, if they sign a pre-contract at another club, there's like a board of kind of people who basically look at the player, establish a kind of market value for that player, and then that is the compensation that has to be paid. Dortmund make a bid for Militao. It's just a bad offer. £44 million is just what he's worth, and they're doing it with instalments. Maybe my asking price is too high, but like 80 million is kind of what I'd want a ballpark number for. But he's such a unique player. I don't feel like there's a player like him that we could ever bring in. I mean, just look how well-rounded he is as a player. Like, he can play centre mid, he can play right back, which of course is where he plays for us. He could slot in at centre back and just be such a complete player there. It's just one of those situations where I don't know how we'd get rid of him. Barcelona make Ndombele offer. They've offered 59 million. Apparently Ndombele would rather join Arsenal. I'm not overly keen on the bid that they put in either. I'm going to lower the asking price. I still want to keep it really high. I see in Football Manager the AI sign players for mental sums of money. You've all seen it. So I kind of want to benefit from that. Wallace has taken up a French citizenship after living in the country for 5 years. That's really good, so that means he'll no longer be considered a foreign player for us. I guess the French citizenship is accumulative, so it's based on the total number of days rather than consecutive days like it is in, I think, in England. I think Canada has a similar system where it's like if you spend 3 years total in Canada, you can, take up Canadian citizenship. But that's kind of good. It opens up opportunities in terms of non-EU players. Real Madrid make an offer for Fekir. It's only 60 million. Oh, I really wish it was more. I really wish it was more. That's not enough. It's just not enough. I'm going to offer him out for less, but I still want I want 80 million. 60 million up front I'd probably take. I dislike getting trickled money over such a period of time. The finances weren't right in the deal they were offering. I'm going to start high, and then if I have to drop it down a little bit, I will. 90 million. He's saying 66. I'll say 80. He says 69. 75. He's not happy. I mean, the complete breakdown has happened. That is the bridge collapsing. If there was any bridge attempting to be built, it's fallen into the river and it's been swept downstream. Not ideal, but we'll live with it. Unfortunately for us, Liverpool are now going to sign that Portuguese youngster. Disaster. maybe we're just not a big enough club. But if I'd known that Liverpool were in from, I might have upped the money a little bit more that we were willing to offer him. I mean, we'll have to keep an eye on him for coming years and see if we regret the decision not to offer that little bit more money. If we just look at players who are coming in, Francisc, still waiting on the scout report, so we can't work out how good he's going to be. Predrag Rajkovic, 20% sell-on clause. Let's just take the money for him. Give us a little bit of pennies to maybe do something with. Anyway, we've got the French Cup game today, but I want to start next episode with that. Equally, I kind of need to start getting ready for work. Not a sentence I ever thought I'd say in a video, but there you go, it's where we're at. Let me know what you thought of today's episode. I must admit, it feels a little bit weird recording in the morning. I'm kind of a creature of habit, and I've done over 1,500 videos, and I think in that time I've probably done less than 5 at this time of day. I don't know, it feels weird. I feel a bit more full of energy, but equally I feel like I'm waking up still as the episode goes on. Let me know what you think of the current kind of situations that we have. Who's this guy? He looks good. Nigerian international, playing for Fulham. Get another scout report on him, scouts. But yeah, let me know what you thought of today's episode. Let me know how tired I sounded. There's all these players with contracts, with offers happening for them. Should I be going in? This guy looks good. Why is he transfer listed by request? What did he do to Atletico? We don't really have the money for him, but he looks good. There's also a Norwegian free agent here, Esben Larsen. Let's just take him on trial. Why not just take him on trial? But no, I'm going off on a tangent here. Let's wrap things up. I do hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Let me know what you think of the transfer dealings. What would you sell Fekir for? What kind of money do you think is right? I know someone's going to say sell him for any price. I feel like for the money that, you know, £60 million is kind of what I'd want as a bare minimum, but I'd want it all up front. I think with that we could do quite a lot of manoeuvrability in the transfer market, even if a lot of it would just be, you know, continuing to plant the seeds of kind of a future 11, which is kind of what we're already very much in the process of doing when you look at just how stacked our youth team is right now. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up everything. I'll see you again soon. It is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.